against for the old Kmart, whatever was at the old county dump that's kind of still a dump at this point. And we have two reputable gentlemen here. If you would identify yourselves on for the record, please.
Brian Seekers, Corporation Counsel for the City of Binghamton.
Tito Martinez, Assistant Director of Planning.
Thank you for being here, gentlemen.
Thank
Make
you.
your case.
So the city's proposing acquiring and demolishing the structures and pavement on this site predominantly for the expansion of parkland, Sherry Lindsay Park and the Shenango River Promenade. So we're here seeking a determination of significance since all of the buildings on site are a little over 40 years old. City Council ultimately is going to make a decision on the acquisition part of this. So they have elected to be the lead agency for seeker. And so what we're asking is for a vote today, if the commission thinks it's appropriate, to allow City Council to proceed as lead agency for the purpose of seeker. We don't need a vote on the demolition today per se, and actually you can't vote today because seeker has to be done. And so that's what we're looking for today is just that vote to allow this City Council to be lead agency.
Dylan, do we have any staff report that needs to be read at this time?
I think Tito did a pretty good job explaining it.
too.
I mean, there's 5 buildings, none of them are older than 1960. 3 of them are built roughly the same time period. There's an ATM and a kiosk and there's taco maker. So
Anybody not familiar on the board with the location over on State Street? It's the old dump. I think the buildings are still actually sinking into the ground over there because of the backflow of the river. So I'm just going to voice an opinion, and this is my opinion. I think it's a no-brainer at this point to vote that it should make the acquisition, but I'm opening the floor if there's any discussion at this time.
I just wanted to emphasize that the purpose of the acquisition is to increase the size of Sherry Lindsay Park. It's also to increase river to the access to the river over through that back area of the parking lot, and also for purposes of economic development along the Shenango Street front or West State.
So we all seem to be pretty much in unison on this. Does anybody want to make a motion? If not, I will. I'm sitting up here. Come on, that's the spirit.
We'll make a motion to designate city council as lead agency for seeker for this acquisition and demolition.
Need a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Unanimous. And then we need a motion for you to go ahead with acquisition. Need
No, just a motion to table it.
motion to table it. So I need a second motion coming up here, guys.
I will motion to table this issue.
Second,
Second,
all in favor? Aye. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you. I will let you know that it may be a while before you get this motion back off the table because the timeline of how things proceed through the eminent domain.
You mean
procedure is
bureaucracy
not
takes
really-
time?
It's not actually in our hands totally, so it may be a while before we come back to you.
I might have a long gray beard again by the time.
You might.
Okay, always a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Okay, let's find number 2 here. It's twice as good as number 1. Okay, so we're at 37 Front Street. Gentlemen, advance and be recognized. And then once you get seated, please state your names on for the record for us. Wonderful. We see we have a revised window plan. Would you like to make a statement or something for it? It looks beautiful.
Is it on? Oh,
It is now.
hey, how about that? Sorry. We didn't feel it was necessary to do a professional rendering because it's pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
Dylan was actually very helpful in sending us a number of historically accurate pictures, and we tried to pick the one that we thought when we're upstairs in the office space, we just wanted to get something that could peak, and you can look straight up Leroy Street, right to St. Patrick's Church. It looks beautiful if you can open it up like that. So that seemed to fit the bill for us.
Okay.
And basically, when you're coming down Leroy Street, you probably won't even pick up the window until you're almost to our parking lot. So it's very hard to see it.
Okay.
Initially, I know in the first meeting, which unfortunately I wasn't there, but we've decided since then that all the other windows will stay exactly the same size. But we do want to do a replacement window because they are certainly not energy efficient, but just with the exact same size.
Yeah, wonderful. Dylan, any staff follow up for this? Do we know the window that's gonna go in? Do we have the configuration?
Yeah, I mean, this is the window that
Yeah.
they're replacing.
Okay.
So it's on the back of it's not on the facade, it's not street facing.
Rear facade.
And because it's arched, it fits into the historical nature of the building. So it won't be the entire gabled end.
So
It's
you're,
gonna be large. I mean, they don't have the exact window, so we can't
Yeah.
show you the window that they're gonna put in. But based on what they're saying is this is basically what it's gonna look like.
you're comfortable if we were to approve it, that we have sufficient information to approve it as presented?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
And the windows they're changing out because they're not changing the fenestration and they've been changed before. It's not that big of an issue. So
Discussion, anybody?
Looks like a nice window.
It does look like a nice window. Could be a little Palladian thing, but it's a nice little window. Anybody wanna take a stab at it?
I guess I'll take a stab.
Advance and be recognized, Dan.
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve the window at 37 Front Street as a replacement
As presented,
as presented,
pending staff. approval.
pending staff approval.
Second. Thank you. All in favor? Gentlemen, go put a nice window in for us.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
for being
much.
here.
do me a favor, when you do actually pick out a window, just send us the specs so I can put them in the case file. Thank you very much.
Mary. Oh, Mary, come on down. By the way, we missed you at the last meeting. Chivalry is not dead, Mary. There's a gentleman still in the room. One should always stand when a lady is seated, right? Oh, he set the standards. I was just following. Mary, state your name on for the record, please. We're glad you're here. Do you want to say something about your beautiful home? Why you're here? In 3 sentences or less?
You got it now?
Thank you.
Dylan has just been, I'm thrilled, all the work he's done for me. I've been wanting to do this for years. I live in the Larrabee House at 12 Edward Street, was built in 1892. Mr. Larrabee and Mr. Sturtevant and Larrabee Carriage Company, pretty famous around here. And I'm only the second owner of that house. I bought it from the youngest daughter of the Larrabee, 7 children in the Larrabee family. And I love the house. The interior is just fabulous. And the exterior, I've worked very hard to keep that up to standards as well. And I just want the house to be preserved. So I'm seeking historic status to protect it from what's happened to so many beautiful houses around here.
Okay, there we have it. So let me ask, Dylan, are we doing local landmark status? Okay. Are we proceeding with National Register stuff also?
I'm gonna proceed with state,
Okay.
but
And then
uh,
national coming down the
first, you
line.
kind of have to do state first and then they
Okay.
go national. So.
Okay, what is our procedure at this point? I'm sorry to ask, but we haven't had one in so many years. I can't remember.
To designate it, to motion designate as a landmark structure in Binghamton.
Well, I think it. Anybody? Any questions, discussion?
I mean, I think I would just tick off, it looks like we have some criteria for determining it and just make sure we check those boxes.
I think you're right.
So the first one has to do with possessing a special character, historical or aesthetic interest or value as part of the cultural, political, economic or social history of the locality or region.
It does.
I would agree, both from the sense of who owned it, as well as we had the discussion of it being
Mhm.
a Bartow design house,
Reynolds,
design house, sorry.
they're friends.
It's also designed, identified with historic personages, both the designer and the previous owners.
Mhm.
It has a distinguishing characteristic of architectural style, namely the Reynolds design. It is the work of a designer who has significantly influenced an age, an age here in Binghamton. Unique location or singular physical characteristics represents an established and familiar visual feature of the neighborhood.
It does by the fact it's preserved.
Sorry. And finally, because of the unique look, this repeats 5. So I'd say we checked off all 5 of those as part of our review of this.
I'm gonna stab at this one. I make a motion to accept the house owned by Mary Webster at 12 Edward Street, Binghamton, New York, 13905, to make it a local landmark. Is that the verbiage we're after? Second? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you, Mary.
Well, thank you.
Keep up the good work. Always a
Mr.
pleasure.
Neighbor.
You're
Do we have anything else on the agenda?
I don't think there's any other business now.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that? I know nothing. I'm like Sergeant Schultz. As there's no further business, anything coming up, then I make a motion to adjourn. Thank you. All in favor? That was short and painless,
Yep.
huh?
It was
I can't send